It'll be fun to see that. Oh, I'm glad you pointed that out because then I can talk about this. All right, because I had forgotten about that. All right, so there were supposed to be 3 Ultimate Fallout 4s in this auction of the Jurjevic variant. But there's only 2. One of them got pulled, and I think it's selling on Tuesday this week in the, and I don't know if it's the same one. This is just my speculation. But there's one that is ending. Yeah, this one. No, where are you? Where are you? 1 day left. This guy. So my guess is that the person that was selling this one pulled it from the signature auction, because originally when we had checked, like back when it was all the books were first announced, there were 3 of them. One of them got pulled, and actually, I wonder if we can see that. I don't know if they probably weren't selling back to back, so probably not. I'm guessing they were selling at like different parts of the auction. Yeah, so there's the 2. These 2 are selling. Okay, so these 2 are selling back to back. I'm guessing the other one was maybe going to be part of the original, like the start of the auction or something. But I've talked about this book quite a bit. It has come up for sale many times since the prices really spiked, and man, there's no way it's selling for that. So, but since the prices have spiked, and man, this one's already higher. Okay. All right. I keep getting distracted by this thing. So talking about the Jurjevic variant, this book went up to, I don't remember what, like 45,000 or something like that. 42,000, somewhere up in that range. And, it's the 1 in 25 variant for first appearance of Miles Morales. I have talked about this book a lot because I've been trying to just like give some warning that if you're buying this book, you should be somewhat cautious, because there are quite a few copies on the census. There are, let's see if I can, I'm going to have to search for it here. So I'll give the census numbers. So Ultimate Fallout 4, and then this. Let's see, it's probably this one. And then we've got second printing variant. All right. So even with the variant, there are 798 universals. You got a bunch of signed copies, 900 copies out there, 185 universals. There are a lot of these books that are out there, and probably a lot more that are still raw, that aren't graded. And so when this book started hitting these massive numbers, going for, like, this isn't the top sale, I don't think. I think the top sale was maybe on like Comic Link or something. It didn't get pulled in because I thought it had gotten to like 42 or 44 or something along that line. Oh no, maybe it was this one, this 43. Okay, 43 too. That might have been the top sale. And it's been starting to correct, because if you've got 180 some odd people that own this book, I mean, at least publicly, since this book was only a $2,000 book in 2019, only 21, 24, 28 copies have sold. Now, I'm sure a bunch of copies have sold on Instagram or privately at cons, all that kind of stuff. But there's still probably a fair number of people out there that own this book that are into it for either not, like, basically nothing, or $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. And you see this book hitting $40,000 and they go, I'm going to sell that book. And then they start seeing it drop. And then more of them are going to sell it, and more of them are going to sell it, because you just start getting that fear. You have what happened with, like Amazing Fantasy 15. That book spiked like crazy. People were into it for a fraction of that price. And then people started dumping them, and it got back to its price a lot quicker because there's a lot more copies out there. So you can get that correction. But with this one, I think I was estimating that I felt like this one would get down somewhere into the teens, like the mid-teens, somewhere in there, maybe even lower. And so I think there's just a lot of risk with this book right now. I'd be very, very cautious if you're buying this one. It's just like, I think that it's on that downward trend, and I think it's going to probably stay on that downward trend for a while. And so, like I said, just this week in Heritage, we've got 3 9/8s. We've got this one here. This is the one that's in the signature auction. It's currently sitting at 15,000. We've got the CBCS 98, which I believe I checked, and it's the exact same one that sold for like 17,000 or whatever it was. I bet we can find it. So let's see. So Ultimate Fallout 4. So where are you? It's such a there we go. Variant edition. So the CBCS 9.8. This was the Heritage auction copy. Let's take a look. Because I think I checked this before. I'm pretty sure it's the same copy. So this one, 21 354 35B 3002. Yep. 21 354 35B 3002. It is the same copy. So yeah. So you've got someone who got this copy, for 18,000 in June. I bet they got the book. They were trying to see if they could maybe get a CGC 98 out of it. They decided maybe there was some risk to that. Like, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know this book well. I think that's actually part of her hair. I think that's not a flaw, but maybe there's something on here that they saw that they didn't like, that they felt the risk was too high on the resubmission, that they would get a 9.6 if they tried to go CGC. And so they said, screw it, I'll just sell it again on Heritage. And it's currently sitting at 7,500. Whereas the CGC one is sitting at 15,000. So I don't know. Then we've got this one that goes up for sale on Tuesday. That's sitting at 3,240. Like, I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, I know it'll get the bids. It's like there's maybe a little bit of something going on there. Let's take a look here. I don't know what that's. I'm guessing that's just junk in the case or on the case. I don't know what. Let me check here. I want to have another one to compare against. Yeah, so maybe that's just part of the book, part of the cover. That's a soft corner, looks like. I don't know. But yeah, this one, I don't know what's going on with this book. I'm sure we'll get a ton of bids or something like that when the live starts. But currently, there's no way it's going for that. Like, I would buy it for that. But yeah, the risk on this Ultimate Fallout 4 is just so high right now. I would be really, really careful with it. And one of the big things I've talked about with it, and I see the comment, I think here, remember that they remember when the book was $1,000. Yeah. I mean, and it's not that long ago, like 5 years ago, this was $1,000 book. I mean, 2018, 1,200, 1,300, 1,500. I mean, you had this book go up 30x. Like, that should like what we've seen with everything else, that should terrify you. If you're buying that book, if you've seen that book go up 30x, it should terrify you. And so, yeah, I'd be selling that book too if I owned it. Oh, someone won the auction and didn't pay. Are you sure? Because usually when it's a non-pay, they say it here. Like, they say, like, because at least maybe you had somebody tell you that, and so that's possible. Like, if somebody at Heritage and they said they didn't pay. It's just that often I've seen when someone doesn't pay, this will say up here like no pay or something like that. At least that's what I've seen in the past. But I don't know for sure. So yeah, it's possible someone didn't pay. I mean, if I had gotten it for 18, I'd probably have paid and just risked trying to flip it. But if there's ever a newsstand variant, wouldn't that go for an insane amount? Well, I know there was a big thing about one that popped up on Elite Comics 11 on Instagram, a 9.8 newsstand of the standard, the cover A, and it was listed for, I don't know, it was like 50,000 or 60,000 or 45,000 or something like that. I don't believe anybody bought it. I think the only way to really know on that one is to put it up for auction. I would guess it probably goes around the same price as this one, somewhere around 30, 35,000. It's going to get a huge premium for sure. But that's the type of book that you almost have to put it up for auction. Like if you really want to know what it's going to go for, you could either be leaving a bunch of money on the table, or maybe you get a lot more. Like I don't think at auction it would have gone for what the person was asking on Instagram. I don't think it would have hit that, but you never know. But I do think probably 30,000, maybe 35.